Hey guys, welcome to another tutorial video. On this video, we'll be learning how to draft a half-scale bodice and a full-scale bodice. But I'm going to first of all draft out the half-scale bodice for us to understand. So if you're a designer, a beginner, and you don't know how to draft a bodice, you need to learn it and you need to watch this video till the end. It will be very beneficial to you. So we're drafting a half-scale bodice. Now, the measurements we need for this half-scale bodice are our shoulder measurement, bust measurement, chest line, and half length, right? Shoulder to chest, shoulder to bust point, shoulder to half length. So now the measurement I'm working with for the shoulder measurement is 16 inches divided by 2. We get 16 inches divided by 2, we get 8 inches, right? And so I mark it like so on my paper, right? 18 inches. Now, on the neck area, I'm going to mark my neck area 3 inches by 3 inches. On the shoulder slope, I'll mark 1.5 inches from the front. On the front, I'm cutting the front bodice now, right? On the neck area, I'm going to mark 3 inches wide and 3 inches deep for the neck area. Hope you understand. Now I'm going to just connect it with my ruler like so, and then I'm going to connect my shoulder slope. I went down by 1.5 inches, right? Now I'm going to mark out my armhole depth. The armhole depth that I'm working with is 9 inches, right? And then I'll connect my line like so. Then the next line we are going to draw out is from our shoulder to our chest line, right? So I'm going to place my tape like so and measure from my shoulder to chest line. So shoulder to chest line we're working with is 9 inches. So I'll mark it out like so. Please guys, when you're drafting your bodies, just follow the process and the procedures and you will get it. Then after your chest line, you mark from your shoulder to your bust point. There is a video on my YouTube on how to take correct body measurements and the measurements that you need. So watch it and then you understand all these measurements that we're taking. Then the next measurement you take is from your shoulder to your half length or your half cut. Some people call it half length. Some people call it half cut. So you measure from your shoulder to your half cut. Whatever name you know, you describe yours with, you measure it out, right? So when we're done taking this measurement, we are going to name our lines so that we will not forget, so that we will know each lines what they are for, so we won't get confused, right? So I'm going to label my line, my chest line, that's the first line, my bust point line, and then my half length line. So if you want to draft out your half scale bodies, these are the 3 lines that you need to draft out first of all. Now the next thing we're going to do is our bust span. We're going to mark it. Your bust span, you can call it bust span or nipple to nipple, whatever you know it with. The distance from one nipple to the other nipple, that's what we call it. So now the distance I'm working with is 8 inches. So you divide it by 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So we're going to mark out 4 inches on the center front of our bodice. So we'll mark out that 4 inches from the bust point line to the half length line. We'll mark out 4 inches, right? And then we'll connect our lines together. Then after connecting our lines together, the next thing we're going to do is to draw our dart leg. Now, on the 4 inches line, on the bust point lines, on our half length, right, I'm going to go in by 0.75, right? So I'll place my tape rule on the center line and mark out my 0.75 on both lines, on both sides, on both the right and the left side, and then I'll connect it to my bust point line, right, like so. So this is our dart leg for this simple basic bodice, this half scale bodice. So now the next thing we're going to do now for this particular bodice is to mark out our measurements, our bust circumference and our waist circumference. Now, if you don't have a calculator, you can just take your measurements like this, right? You get your tape, fold your tape into 4, and then you will get the exact measurements that you need. You don't need to start looking for calculator if you don't have. So I've marked out my measurement 37 divided by 4. Mind you, I didn't add allowance. So for the half length or the waistline, I'm going to do the measurements we're working with is 34 divided by 4, and then I'll mark it out on my bodice like so. So now we've marked out our circumference measurements. We'll connect it to our armhole line like so. Can you see it's coming out nicely? So now the next thing we're going to do is to get our armhole curve for the front. Now on our armhole line, we'll go up by 3 inches like so, and then we'll go in by 0.5, right? Like so. Just put a point of 0.5, and then you get your ruler and you connect it to your armhole line. If you can't do the freehand, please get a ruler and connect it. The ruler will give you a perfect line that you need, right? So I just want to get it perfectly before drawing it out. So can you see how I connected it? This is our armhole curve for our front. Now I'm just showing you that where I went up by 3 inches, then went in by 0.5, right? Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to, why am I showing this again? So the next thing we're going to do is to connect the lines of our bodies like so, right? Now on the half length line, the half length of the front is 19 inches. If you've watched my video, you see that the difference between the front and the back, your front half length and your back half length are always different, right? So my front half length is 19, while my back is 2. So on your bust line, you mark out 2 and connect it to your bust point line. Now you measure that 2 and you get the center point, go up by 0.75 and you connect it, right? You connect it like so. Can you see? From your armhole line down to your bodice. And then you connect the lines like so. Why are we connecting it like so? So that when we close it up like this, we will get the same 17 inches. So that when you're joining your front and your back bodies, you will get, they will be in the same line. One will not be longer than each other. Do you get? So now someone will ask, why is the front longer than the back? Please remember to tighten your shoulder slope like so. I went down by 1/2 inch and then I connected it to my shoulder line, and then I marked out my neckline. Now one will ask, why is the shoulder slope, why is the half length of the front longer than the back? It's because of your bust. The back doesn't have a bust, so definitely the front of your half length will be longer than the back. So that's why you have to take out the distance from the side. You just do your front minus your back, whatever you get. If it's 2 inches, you mark it out on your bust line. From your bust line down, you mark out that 2 inches, and then you get the midpoint. The midpoint of 2 inches is 1. On that one, you go up by 0.75, right? And then you connect your lines from the armhole down, that extra diagonal line that I connected, right? And then you now close it up. I just want to show you that, can you see it's 19? So let's close it up now. You will see how many inches it will give us. So you close it up like so. You get your masking tape. Just be patient. Get your masking tape to hold it down, right? Just get your masking tape or any tape rule that you have and hold it down. Now you'll be asking why we made that diagonal shape. We made that diagonal shape so that it's not going to reduce our measurements, our original measurements of the bodies. Can you see? Can you see 17? The upper part, remember we tightened it by 1/2 inch, right? So now we'll just blend it in like this. Do you see why we came out up by 0.75? So that we'll be able to blend in our bodies. So now it's time for us to cut our back bodice. So the same thing, we're going to mark out 1 inch for our zipper allowance, and then we'll mark out our shoulder measurement. We'll go 3 inches wide. On the shoulder slope, we'll come down by 1 inches for the back, and then we measure our armhole length, that's 9 inches, and we'll connect our lines like so. Then on the neck depth, we're going to measure the lines that we're going to mark are our chest line and our half length line for the back. Just your chest line and your half length line. You can just mark your bust point line if you wish. Do you get? So mark chest line, bust point line, and your half length. Remember to mark your 1 inch seam allowance on the back side, because we're going to be adding a zipper. So I'm just going to mark out that 1 inch zip allowance, and then label my lines: chest line, bust line, half length line. Hope you understand up to this level. Then on the neckline, we are going to dip our neckline by 1 inch. This is the standard for the back. We dipped the front by 3 inches. The back, we dipped it by 1 inch. So the back is supposed to be higher than the front. This is just standard, right? So now the same thing, I'm going to tighten my shoulder slope by 1/2 inch. Why am I tightening it? So that I'll remove that pointy part of the shoulder area. Now on the armhole part of the back, you divide your armhole by 2, right? Now I made a mistake. I went to measure 19 inches for the length of this our back. It's supposed to be 17, right? So now I'm going to mark out that 4 inches bust span. I'm going to mark it out, and then on the chest line, I will come down by 1 inch. So I marked out my 4 inches bust span, came down by 1 inch on this chest line, and then to mark my darts, to tighten my darts, I went in by 0.75, just like I did for the front. The same thing. Do you understand? So that's just what I did here. Now I'm going to impute my measurements for the bust line, for the waistline too, right? So please, if you don't understand, please ask your question. I'll try my best to explain for you, but watch the video very well so that you understand what we are doing. So now on the armhole area, I divided the armhole by 2. That's 9 divided by 2, 4.5. I marked it, and I went in by 0.5. That's what gave us that our armhole curve. So now we are done with our half scale bodies. This is the back of the half scale bodies, and then we're cutting it out. Please note, I didn't add measurements. I didn't add allowance on this. I'm going to add my allowance. Whenever I'm cutting my material, I will add my allowance on my material. So this is the half scale bodies. Now on the zipper allowance area, we want to give it that shape. If you look at the back of a female, you see that our back is somehow slopey, right? It went in. So if you cut your zipper allowance to be straight, you see that after fixing your zip, it will give it that bulge. So on that half length line, I went in by 0.5. Can you see? I went in by 0.5, and then I just connected it like so, just to give it that shaping of our back, and then I'll cut it out. Can you see? So guys, if you have any question, let me know. And if you've not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I'll be uploading videos every day. So this is a half scale basic bodice. Why is it a half scale basic bodice? Because we are stopping at the half length. So if someone asks you to draft a half scale basic bodice, this is what you should draft for the person. Now you see that the front and the back bodies, can you see the sides, that they are equal? That's why we did that 2 inches on the front and on the front side. So thank you guys for watching, and if this tutorial was helpful, do like and follow and share. Thank you. So now let's draft out the full scale basic bodice. Now the difference between the half scale and the full scale is just the length. Now for the full scale, we are going to measure out the complete length of our top, complete length of the blouse, right? Normally the measurement for top for a blouse is 25, but most people, they just say they either want theirs longer or shorter, but normal measurement for a blouse or a top is 25. So now we're going to, as we're cutting a full scale bodice, we'll bring down our that leg. As you can see, this is the front part. I just joined another pattern paper under it. We'll bring down our that leg to the length of the blouse, go up by 1 inch, and then connect the darts like so, diagonally. Can you see? This is just our full scale. This is just the difference between the back and the front, between the half scale and the full scale. The difference is the complete length of your blouse. So if someone tells you to draft a full scale basic bodice, this is it. The person is just trying to tell you to draft a full length top, a full length blouse. Do you understand? So this is for the front. So the whole English full scale basic bodice, this is it, just full blouse length. That's what the person is telling you to draft out. So this is for the front. Now let's draft out for the back. I already joined a material under, right? So I'm going to mark out 25 inches like so, the same thing I marked out for the back, and then I'm going to connect my measurements like so, and then draw down my that leg, that 4 inches that we marked, draw down my zipper allowance like so, and connect it. Now I will still go up by 1 inch on the length of the blouse and connect it diagonally like so on the dart legs. Can you see? Those are the dart legs we will cut out. Now on the zipper allowance area, on the half length area, I'm going to go in by 0.5 and connect it to the hem of the blouse like so. Why are we connecting it? To give it that shape. Do you get? To give it that shape at the back of your blouse. So that's just the difference. You cut out your measurements like so, shape the sides of your full blouse, and then shape your zipper allowance area, and your full block basic bodice is ready. So thank you guys for watching, and if this tutorial was helpful to you, please like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you guys. See you on my next tutorial.